All right, fishermen, let's finish up the little unit on mollusks and hopefully get the idea of what these guys are all about. Remember we left off here talking about scallops, and scallops, remember, are what class? They're bivalves. Okay, remember we started off with main one was gastropods. We did the polyplacophora in the beginning. But we got gastropods were the single-shelled ones. Those were your snails and your abalone. But now we're in the bivalves, and those are your oysters, and hopefully you found some cool videos of people eating oysters and how you eat them. Hopefully you've tried scallops, but the idea is that you're eating the muscle of that scallop. Okay, all right. And there's a couple other things with other types of bivalves. You've got your clams, another one. I've never really been a big fan of clams. I see it's kind of fishy, but hey, try them. They're good for people or whatever they like them. But pearls, they're obviously a production of oysters. And there's a little thing on how they actually make this. There's your oyster, what you'd actually eat. There's the muscle in the middle, and the pearl is simply there as a coating, mother of pearl coating over some sort of piece of sand that got into the pearl. A lot of times they will actually put that piece of sand in there to seed it and make the pearl that way. But the last class we're looking at here are cephalopods. Now, cephalopods are really interesting because they have found out that these guys are some of the most intelligent critters on the planet. And cephalopods will include your octopus, squid, nautilus, cuttlefish, and that kind of stuff. Really kind of cool is that it says here they're intelligent as cats. And a couple things I really want you to know here is that they do have a beak that they will chew with. Or eat with. They're carnivorous, and they're very, very intelligent. And the last thing here is something called chromatophores. They can change their colors like almost instantly because they can actually squeeze and open these different openings in their tissue that cause different colors to show up. An example of one, like here, this is a squid that's been opened up. That's the outside of it, or the inside of it. We're not going to hear about that so much. Nautilus. God, if we had class right now, I'd show you a really good shell of the example here. That they simply live inside here and keep adding a chamber as they get bigger and bigger. Cuttlefish, it looks like they're swimming backwards. They got the tentacles out in front, but in the middle of them, they've got this cuttle bone that's a piece of calcium carbonate that people will use for their parakeets to sharpen their beaks. The octopus, again, here's that radula, that beak that actually bites and chews with. There's a siphon that actually pumps water, moves along, and that's another thing I need you to make sure you know is a siphon is what they squirt water with and move forward. Other countries, a lot of places, octopus is very, very, very huge part of their diet. And we do have the idea here, but it's really easy catching octopus. All they do is they tie couple of jugs together on a rope, throw it in the water overnight. The next morning, hey, there's octopus in it. But now here's the kicker. Try and kill an octopus. Things squirming all over the place. Boom. Bite it. You get the main nerve going to the cephalic region of the octopus, and pinch it, dead octopus. And so that's what she's doing there. They use ink that a lot of times they'll use squid ink or octopus ink in cooking to give it a certain flavor, a certain color, but it's a defense mechanism. Now, there are videos out there that I don't have one on here, but you need to look it up, of the giant squid they finally caught on film, because these guys can get absolutely enormous. Some of the largest sea creatures out there. Go on YouTube and watch giant squid caught on film, because it's the first time in human history they actually got it on film. It's really spectacular how big this thing is. Now, the reason why I'm showing you this really quick here is that if anybody ever in here has ever had calamari, calamari is literally the mantle of the squid, this part right here. They take, and you can eat the tentacles and everything, but the rings that you see that look like onion rings, they take this, chop it, chop it, chop it, so you get these rings of mantle that then they deep fry, and you get a marinara sauce, and they're absolutely fantastic. If they're chewy, you got a cheap one. But if you get the really soft, tender, they're very, seafood-like, very, very good eating. People actually clean the inside out and stuff them with crab meat, and they're just fantastic stuffed squid. And so they're really it's not like we're hurting the environment with these guys, because they are so abundant in the ocean that they're very, really popular. There's your calamari. There's the rings of the mantle. These look better than those. Those look like somebody just threw them and squished them all together, but those look really, really good. Okay, and here other countries will eat them kind of like jerky, and it's a huge part of their diet and ecosystem. Okay. All right, so last one here is class Scaphopoda. We're not going to worry so much about those, but they're just basically with tusk shells. They threw them in this because they do have the shell, and they've got their soft body in the inside. All right, kids, that should wrap up mollusks, and we're going to move on to the last phyla of invertebrates on arthropods. Kind of a big phyla, but we'll wrap it up and make it kind of easy. All right, later.